There is a kind of knowledge available only to a few, yet it holds the power to radically change the course of your life. It is surprisingly simple, which is why most people overlook it, but its strength is so profound that it can open doors you once believed were permanently closed. The most interesting part is this: you won't need to tell anyone about it. In fact, the quieter and more subtly you apply this principle, the faster you will begin to see results. Life often feels complicated and heavy, especially when we constantly resist circumstances. But what if, instead of fighting, you allowed the world to work for you? Imagine opportunities appearing as if out of nowhere, the right people showing up at the perfect moment, and solutions arriving easily and naturally. Sounds too ideal? Then keep reading, because today you will learn what exactly you must do in silence to activate this energy and allow life to unfold in the most extraordinary way. Before we go further, write in the comments, "I trust the flow of the universe." This simple statement already begins to align your inner state with the right frequency of perception. Now let's move to the essence. What you are about to discover is not just spiritual philosophy or an inspiring idea. Research on consciousness conducted by scientists like Jacobo Greenberg shows that reality is not something fixed. On the contrary, it is a reflection shaped by our own perception. This means that by changing your inner state and level of awareness, you can directly influence the quality of your life. Greenberg dedicated years to studying how consciousness interacts with what he called the neural field, an invisible structure in which all possible outcomes already exist in potential form. His observations revealed that people who manage to tune their thinking to a certain frequency begin to notice synchronicities and unusual coincidences. In other words, what we often call luck or destiny is frequently a reflection of a person's internal patterns. But here lies the key point. The most powerful transformations occur when the work is done in silence, without external interference. It is no coincidence that many spiritual practices are performed in solitude. Today, you will learn how to use this principle so that life begins to open new doors for you naturally and effortlessly. If there is one truth shared by all wise minds, it is this: what you do quietly often matters far more than what you show to the world. When you share your goals and intentions too early, your energy disperses. The opinions, doubts, and expectations of others begin to interfere with the process. Think of how many times you had an inspiring idea, told someone about it, and suddenly your enthusiasm faded. Or a promising plan began to fall apart under the influence of someone's comments. This happens because when you voice your intention, you allow energies into it that may not align with your inner state. There is also a neurophysiological aspect. Studies show that the brain doesn't always clearly distinguish between talking about an action and actually performing it. When you speak about your plans, dopamine, the pleasure hormone, is released, creating an illusion of completion. As a result, your motivation for real action weakens. Look at people who have achieved remarkable results. Those who built great projects, reached high levels of awareness, or accomplished large-scale goals rarely shared every step. They acted first and only then spoke about the outcome. When you keep your intention within and maintain focus, you create a powerful internal field capable of manifesting what you desire without interference. This principle applies not only to big goals. Small, quiet steps often lead to the most significant changes. If you want to attract something into your life, visualize it and feel as if it is already part of your reality. But don't rush to share it with others. Allow this state to strengthen within you. If you are starting a new project, learning a skill, or changing habits, do it without seeking approval. Quiet progress creates stable, consistent energy. Many inner victories, shifts in thinking, emotional healing, spiritual growth, do not need to be discussed. Feel their value for yourself. The universe responds to those who trust the process without trying to prove anything. When you stop depending on the opinions of others and begin to direct your energy carefully, extraordinary things happen. Opportunities arrive at the right time, results appear unexpectedly, and doors that were once closed open with ease. This happens because your inner frequency remains pure and unclouded by external doubt. The true power of manifestation lies in trusting yourself. When you master the art of silent action, reality begins to respond to you with greater harmony. Now that you understand the power of silence, let's move to the next essential aspect, the role of the subconscious mind. Most people believe their lives are shaped by external circumstances, yet in reality, life reflects the deep beliefs stored within the subconscious. These beliefs determine your reactions, decisions, and the very scenarios you repeatedly experience. From childhood, we absorb ideas about the world, money, success, and what is possible. If you were taught that life is hard, resources are limited, and success is reserved for a select few, these ideas became imprinted at a deep level. Without even realizing it, you may still be acting according to programs that restrict you. The subconscious is a vast storage of emotions, memories, and beliefs. It does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It responds to what is repeated consistently. If you are tuned to lack, you will encounter obstacles again and again. But by reprogramming these patterns, you can shift the direction of your life. Many opportunities depend not on what you want, but on what your subconscious considers acceptable. If deep inside you feel unworthy of success, you may unconsciously reject the very chances that appear on your path. To change your reality, you must introduce new patterns of thinking. This is achieved through repetition, visualization, and emotionally embodying a new version of yourself. When you replace limiting thoughts with supportive ones and begin to act from this new state, your inner frequency changes and the world responds. Start by observing your speech. The subconscious is highly sensitive to words. Phrases like "I'm unlucky" or "this is too difficult" reinforce negative cycles. Replace them with statements such as "opportunities come to me easily," "abundance is natural for me." It is important not just to say these words, but to feel their truth. The subconscious responds to emotion. When the new thinking becomes natural, changes begin to unfold almost imperceptibly. Now let's explore an even deeper topic, the state of flow and synchronicity. You may have experienced moments when everything seemed to align effortlessly. The right people appeared at the right time, solutions arrived unexpectedly, and events unfolded perfectly. This is not coincidence, it is the result of inner alignment. Flow arises when you are fully present in the moment without resisting what is happening. You are not stuck in the past nor anxious about the future. In this state, you begin to notice synchronicities, meaningful coincidences described by Carl Jung. But why do some people experience this state often while others constantly feel resistance? The answer lies in attachment and fear. When desire is accompanied by anxiety and the need to control, it creates the energy of lack. The more tightly you cling, the more resistance you generate. The secret of effortless manifestation lies in trust and acceptance. This is not passivity, it is action without tension. When you stop fighting the present moment and allow it to be, your energy shifts. Balance is achieved when you clearly set an intention but do not depend on immediate results. Like a seed that needs time to grow, your desires require trust in the process. The practice of gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to dissolve resistance. Genuine appreciation for what you already have raises your inner frequency and opens space for the new. And now it is time to move from understanding to action. Knowledge without application does not change life. Choose at least one practice and begin using it daily. Before sleep, strengthen your new identity through visualization and affirmations. Throughout the day, maintain a state of gratitude and flow. And most importantly, protect your intentions, allowing them to grow in silence. Now write in the comments, "I trust the flow of the universe and allow it to surprise me." With this, you are already sending a new message inward. Share which idea resonated with you the most and how you plan to apply it in your life. The secret is now in your hands. Use it consciously and watch as life begins to reveal paths that once seemed impossible. When you begin replacing limiting beliefs with supportive statements and acting from a new mindset, your inner frequency shifts and the universe responds. If you want to reprogram your consciousness and attract new opportunities, start by paying attention to the words you use every day. The subconscious reacts directly to what you repeatedly think and say. Repeating phrases like "I'm unlucky," "money is hard to earn," or "nothing works out for me" reinforce negative patterns. These words become confirmations of your familiar reality. Instead, consciously replace them with statements such as, "Opportunities come to me easily," "Abundance is natural for me," "The universe always works in my favor." But the true power of these words is revealed only when you feel their truth. The subconscious does not respond to words, it responds to emotion. This is why it is not enough to simply repeat affirmations. You must believe them, envision them as an already existing reality, and act in alignment with them. When this inner programming becomes natural, changes begin to unfold almost imperceptibly, yet with remarkable precision. Having understood the influence of the subconscious, it is time to move to an even deeper topic, the state of flow and synchronicity. You may be familiar with the feeling when everything seems to fall into place effortlessly. The right people appear at the right moment, doors open without struggle, and opportunities arise unexpectedly. This is not coincidence, it is the result of inner alignment. Flow emerges when you are fully present in the moment, without resisting what is happening. Your mind is not stuck in the past and not anxious about the future. You allow life to unfold naturally. In this state, synchronicities begin to appear, meaningful coincidences that indicate your inner frequency is matching the reality you desire. Carl Jung described synchronicities as manifestations of a hidden order. When your inner energy is harmonized, the outer world begins to reflect this through precise and timely events that accelerate your path. But why do some people live in flow while others constantly feel resistance? The reason lies in attachment and fear. When you desperately want a result and simultaneously fear not receiving it, you create the vibration of lack. The stronger the attachment, the greater the inner tension. Resistance shows up as doubt, worry, and the urge to control everything. Constant checking, impatience, and disappointment send a signal of distrust in the process. The secret of effortless manifestation lies in deep trust. This is not passivity, it is action without rush or tension. When you accept the present moment and stop fighting it, reality begins to shift. What you resist persists. By fighting lack or rejecting the present, you continue to vibrate at the same frequency. Balance is achieved when you clearly set your intentions but are not emotionally dependent on the outcome. Like a seed that needs time, desires require trust in the process. The ideal state for attracting them is a sense of inner wholeness right now. When your happiness does not depend on future achievements, your frequency rises and what you want arrives more quickly. The practice of gratitude is a simple yet powerful way to dissolve resistance. Genuine appreciation for what already exists opens your consciousness and strengthens the feeling of abundance. When you release control and trust the flow of life, everything begins to happen more easily. Opportunities appear at the right time, answers come on their own, and doors open unexpectedly. The universe responds not to desperate need, but to calm confidence. Now it is time to move from understanding to practice. Knowledge alone does not change life. Transformation happens through action. The universe is always ready to open doors for you, but it is your inner frequency that determines which ones will open. Begin applying at least one of these practices daily. Before sleep, use visualization and affirmations. During the day, maintain a state of flow and gratitude. And most importantly, protect your intentions, allowing them to grow in silence. Write in the comments, "I trust the flow of the universe and allow it to surprise me." With this, you are already sending a new message inward. The secret is now in your hands. Use it consciously and watch as life begins to reveal new paths. When you consciously replace limiting beliefs with supportive and constructive affirmations and gradually begin acting from this new mindset, your inner frequency starts to shift, and the universe responds to that shift. If you want to reprogram your consciousness and open yourself to new opportunities, the first step is to pay close attention to the words you use every day, both aloud and in your inner dialogue. The subconscious reacts directly to this internal conversation, shaping your decisions, reactions, and life patterns. When you repeatedly say things like, "I'm unlucky," "money is hard to earn," or "nothing works out for me," you reinforce the same limiting models. These words become confirmations of your familiar reality and strengthen the cycle of repeating events. Instead, it is essential to consciously replace such statements with supportive affirmations. Opportunities come to me easily. Abundance naturally flows into my life. The universe always works in my favor. Over time, these thoughts begin to form a new perception of the world. However, the true power of these words emerges only when you begin to feel them as truth. The subconscious responds not to the phrasing itself, but to the emotion you experience while saying it. This is why mechanical repetition is not enough. It is essential to believe in your affirmations and vision your desired reality as something that already exists, and begin acting in alignment with this new inner state. When such programming becomes natural, changes begin to unfold smoothly, yet with remarkable precision and perfect timing. Having understood how profoundly the subconscious influences manifestation, it is time to explore an even deeper topic: the state of flow and the synchronicities it creates. You may have experienced moments when events seemed to arrange themselves effortlessly. The right people appeared at the right moment, solutions emerged without strain, and opportunities arrived unexpectedly yet perfectly on time. This feeling cannot be dismissed as mere luck. It is the result of inner alignment. Flow arises when you are fully present in the current moment and do not resist what is happening. Your mind is not stuck in the past and not anxious about the future. You allow life to unfold naturally while maintaining inner clarity and calm. In this state, you begin to notice synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that may appear random but actually reflect the resonance between your inner frequency and the reality you are moving toward. Carl Jung described synchronicities as manifestations of a hidden order and a deep interconnectedness between the inner and outer worlds. When your inner energy is harmonious, the external world mirrors this through precise and timely events that seem to guide you and accelerate your progress. But why do some people seem to live in flow, while others constantly feel as if they are swimming against the current? The primary reason is resistance. When you desperately want a result and simultaneously fear not receiving it, you create a vibration of lack and inner tension. The stronger your attachment to the outcome, the more resistance you generate within yourself. Resistance can manifest as doubt, anxious thoughts, constant worry, and the urge to control everything. When you repeatedly check whether circumstances have changed, expect immediate results, or feel disappointed when they don't appear quickly, you send a signal of distrust in the process. This disrupts the natural unfolding of events. The secret of effortless and harmonious manifestation lies in deep trust and acceptance. This is not passivity or withdrawal from action. It is the ability to act without rush, pressure, or inner strain. When you accept the present moment and stop fighting it, reality begins to shift more gently and naturally. What you resist continues to persist in your life. By fighting the feeling of lack or rejecting your current situation, you continue to vibrate at the same frequency. True balance is achieved when you clearly set your intentions but do not become emotionally dependent on the outcome. Just as a seed needs time to grow, your desires require space and trust in the process. The ideal state for attracting what you want is a sense of inner wholeness and contentment right now. When your happiness no longer depends solely on future achievements, your inner frequency rises, and what you desire begins to arrive more quickly and easily. One of the simplest and most effective ways to reduce resistance is the practice of gratitude. Genuine appreciation for what already exists in your life dissolves inner blocks, strengthens the feeling of abundance, and opens your consciousness to new possibilities. When you release excessive control and trust the flow of life, everything begins to happen more easily. Opportunities appear at the right time, answers arrive seemingly on their own, and doors open unexpectedly yet perfectly on time. The universe responds not to desperate need, but to calm confidence and inner stability. Now it is time to move from understanding to practice. Knowledge alone doesn't change life. Real transformation happens through action and consistent application of new principles. The universe is always ready to open doors for you, but it is your inner state and your choices that determine which of those doors will open. Begin applying at least one of these practices every day. Before sleep, use visualization and affirmations to strengthen your new self-image. Throughout the day, return to the state of flow and gratitude, reminding yourself that life is moving in your favor. And most importantly, protect your intentions, allowing them to grow in silence before sharing them with the world. Write in the comments, "I trust the flow of the universe and allow it to surprise me." With this, you are already sending a new message to your consciousness and to the space around you. The secret is now in your hands. Use it consciously and watch as life begins to open new paths before you. If you are ready to stop living on autopilot and begin creating your reality consciously, subscribe to the channel The Power of the New Me. Here you will find tools for inner transformation, growth, and stepping into a new level of life.